Now we're talking.
Laura, delighted to have you here.
Thanks so much for having me.
I was stoked to have you on for two main reasons. One, I really dig you and your band's music, and two, it's a bit of a milestone for the podcast because you're the first female musician I'll be having here.
Let's go. That's awesome.
So yeah, cool that it gets to be you, and hopefully more to come as well. Because wanting to have a female's perspective on music and just creativity.
Absolutely. I think that's really important. You don't get to hear about, well, I mean, you do get to hear about like female musicians, but there's definitely a lot of things that are different for sure, experience wise.
Yeah, and so over there in Florida, are you like in Orlando area?
Yes, I am, unfortunately.
And what's the music scene over there?
Oh, well, I should ask how deep into the details you want me to get.
Oh shit. Well,
Yeah.
what kind of what kind of shows go on? Maybe like weekends or like what goes on over there?
So, the scene has like kind of like shifted a little bit in the few like recent years, especially like since the pandemic, because there were like some staple venues that a lot of local bands would play at. Like it used to be called Soundbar, at least one of the venues. And they shut it down because the pandemic and also just like the owners being weird or something, like I don't know, making the rent go up or something, so they like shut it down. And a lot of like new venues have been popping up locally recently. um yeah, so I don't know, it's, I also feel like a lot of new artists have been coming out of Orlando recently too. um Honestly, I feel like I was mostly like active in the Orlando scene in like 2019, 2020, 2018, kind of like that range. And I feel like it's really different now. Like none of the same bands are around really. Um, Lots of like younger people now, which is like really cool. Oh, lots of female artists coming into the scene now because it used to be very much like male dominated. Um, Mostly like, I want to say like emo post hardcore bands, not really any like indie artists or like garage rock or anything kind of like in the Tidepools realm of stuff. But now I feel like there's a lot more people trying to do like shoegazy, like adjacent stuff, which is really interesting. And yeah, I don't know. It's been changing a lot.
Wanted to ask like a true or false question. Was Kings of Leon one of your first inspirations to write music?
How did you know that? Dude, what the fuck? Oh, damn.
I like to
Oh,
uh I like to be prepared.
wow. Okay. That's crazy. Yes. So yeah, like I started Tide Pools. I mean, at the time it wasn't called Tide Pools, it was called like Static and then like a bunch of other random names until I landed on Tide Pools. But I, man, I like started playing guitar because I just like got so obsessed with the album like in like the 5th grade. And I don't know, I was like, oh, like I want to do what they're doing or something. And then my mom had like an acoustic guitar that she never played, so I started on that. And then um I don't know, I guess I convinced them that I was like into it enough that they let me like buy an electric, and then I just started writing music. But yeah, that was definitely like one of the catalysts. That and like maybe Gorillas, U2, and like The Cure or something like that. Like those were my musical idols in the fifth grade for some reason. But yeah,
Fifth grade. What King's album was it? The Aha one?
yes, yeah, yeah. That's cool. That's crazy, man. Yes,
Well,
it was Aha Shake Heartbreak. Yeah, for the
that one
most
was
part,
just a lucky guess, but hell yeah, nailed it.
definitely. I don't know that for some reason the bucket, like that song
Ooh,
specifically, like I don't know what it did to my little fifth grader brain, but I was just like,
that's
I
a
want to
great
do
song.
something like that.
Yeah, I was really into them too. Have you ever seen that Shia LaBeouf movie, Disturbia?
No, I haven't.
I don't know, maybe like middle school or fifth grade, and that's when I got into Kings because they had Taper Jean Girl in the soundtrack. I was like, damn, this song's dope. And then yeah, I got went through a little phase, and I remember I had them in my iPod, and yeah, the bucket was a really replayed song on
Throwback to iPod days. That
there.
was honestly the thing that started it all, man. Like, I got an iPod Touch and I downloaded like Pandora, and then the gates opened. Like, I started my musical journey and found all these like really cool artists, like, I don't know, The Strokes, and like everything else just branched off of there.
Oh yeah. I was also wondering which one of these two were you passionate about first, art or music?
That's a really hard question. I'm gonna say both. Wow. I don't know. I've always been that person to like gravitate towards like creative stuff. Um I mean, I guess if you want like a solid answer, I'll say that art was definitely like my main passion at first, but I don't know, they kind of like intermeshed and interlocked around the same time. Like I got I remember I got a keyboard for like my sixth birthday, like a Yamaha, just like regular keyboard with like different like voice settings in there. I don't know if you know the Garden, but it has like that setting that's like, oh, like the buttons that make like all like weird like punching noises, or like, oh, like I don't know, but it had all that stupid stuff on there. Um, yeah, I don't know. I always knew that I wanted to be like an artist of some sort. Didn't know what kind, but art has definitely always been my thing for sure. And music is just like another addition to it, just the sonic version.
Nice. Uh
Yeah.
so I know you said, you know, got the initial interest in like fifth grade to start, playing music, but do you remember how old you were when you wrote your first song?
I do. I was 12 years old and I still have that song actually. It's like on SoundCloud because when I started making music, I would just like, upload directly from GarageBand on my iPod Touch with like my iRig and whatever. And like the Apple headphones, like I would like literally use like the little microphone on the wired Apple headphones to do like vocals and stuff. But I would just upload that to SoundCloud, and it's still up there. It's just like privated, but it was called like Classrooms or something. And I mean, it was, I don't know, like it's called classrooms, but I guess it was more like metaphorical, even though I didn't know I was doing it at the time, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, my guitar was really out of tune because I didn't have a tuner at the time. So it's a little bit funky, but in that regard, yeah.
So yeah, I'm curious. Um, so some of those early songs, if you can remember, what what messages or feelings were you trying to get out with those early songs?
Um, Music even then was always like an emotional like outlet for me, like a kind of way to, just like process whatever I was going through at the time. Um, yeah, I don't know, it was like confessional, but also like I wanted to write in a way that wasn't like particularly like super like hyper specific. Cause like a lot of my favorite artists at the time would write more in like like I said, kind of like a metaphorical sense and stuff. So people can have like different interpretations of it. Um, yeah, but it was mostly just like speaking about, I guess at the time, like in middle school, when I really started like demoing stuff out like every week and stuff, it was like, I guess about like loneliness and like, um, I guess like processing familial interactions and like situations and um yeah, I guess like isolation definitely is the most main like point in at that time when I started writing, I want to say.
Gotcha. Wow. Even at a young age, you're speaking about like more, I guess, grown up kind of topics.
Yeah, I was an only child for like the first 10 years of my life, and I feel like, oh, I don't know, I felt like I didn't really fit in with like my peers or whatever because I was always around like adults and stuff, and like I'm not trying to say like I was more mature than my class, no, like none of that, but just, you know, I felt like I couldn't relate to a lot of people, so music really helped me feel like I had a place in that sense, I guess.
Nice. Yeah. Music can be very comforting at any time, you know, good or bad.
Definitely.
And so I know you said those bands that you mentioned a little while ago, and besides Aha, what other important albums came from your youth?
Woo, man, you're hitting me with the hard-hitting questions. Damn. Okay. Well, I gotta say, Captured Tracks definitely changed my life. That was like the record label, like dream record label, like my favorite like artists at the time. Even like to this day, I'm wearing a Wild Nothing shirt right now. Wild Nothing, they were definitely one of them. Early Beach Fossils, Craft Spells, um, Neon Indian, Beach House, Deer Hunter. There's so many. I mean, The Strokes, obviously, like probably. I have like a Spotify playlist with like a bunch of shit that I listened to when I was like at that age, and I could probably like pull that up and just like name a lot more, but those are definitely like some of the main ones.
The nostalgia playlist.
Yes.
Um, I've seen Neon Indian, saw Deer Hunter. I met what's his name? Bradford?
Yeah, Bradford Cox.
Um, oh yeah, and I'm gonna see Beach Fossils hopefully in October.
Hell yeah, they're sick.
And that can tie into my next question. What was the first concert you attended?
First concert, this is kind of lame, but like I said, when I was a kid, I don't know if this is like a similar experience for people like my age or whatever, but like how your parents like used to have like this like big like booklet of like CDs and you just like flip through it and stuff. Like my stepdad had like a shitload of U2 CDs and like I would just put them in the computer, burn them onto my like little iPod shuffle thing that I had at the time and I would just like listen to like Joshua Tree and like War and like all those things. I don't know. Those are so U2 was my first concert. I was 9 and I went to see their tour. I don't, it was like Autumn Baby. I don't know. In Tampa with my stepdad. He was like the main person when I was younger. Like he was the main person that would go to the shows with me, which was really awesome because I was always too young to go by myself because they were like 18 plus or whatever. And luckily he would like I would show him music and he'd be like, "Oh, this is good." So he would just go with me and stuff. But yeah.
Cool. I never really got into YouTube, but I had like I mentioned, I had a few iPods, and I remember I had like a big one that had like a lot of gigs on it, and it was a YouTube black and red one. And I gotta give props to YouTube though. I think from what I know, they were like one of the only bands that like forced their album on like the iPod.
That album is so whack, dude. I gave them a bad name, but I remember exactly. Yeah, I remember when that happened, and I was just like, no, like, I mean, that's crazy that you were able to make a deal with Apple and just force everyone to like have that album, but it was not the album to do it with, I don't think, personally.
Yeah, it's still bizarre to me. Like, how did they do that? They probably had like a diehard YouTube fan at Apple.
Probably, man. I don't know. I mean, it didn't work out, I guess. Everyone hated that.
So I know you mentioned that there were kind of a few different names before Tidepools, but I saw there that it originated around 2013 as a solo project for you.
Yes. Specifically under that name, yeah. Like I said earlier, like the first project name ever that I started with was called Static, but obviously like like seeing that now I'm like, yeah, I'm so glad I changed my name because that definitely sounds like a 11-year-old came up with it or something, but um I think after that I went through a few random ones that didn't really stick for long, like Blue Cichlid or something, and like Bummed Out. I don't know, just like really weird, very different vibe names from Tidepools. But I like Tidepools now, and I'm glad I found that at the time that I did because now I feel like if you go on Spotify and you search up Tidepools, there's like other band names that are like a little bit similar, but I made sure to Google and make sure that no one else took the name at the time. So, yeah.
It's like I claim it. This is mine.
Yes, exactly.
So I also saw that demos came out in June 2014 uh, on Bandcamp, and then some of those songs later appeared on Wasted Purpose.
Yes. So that was actually um Wasted Purpose is just like a compilation album essentially of just like all those demos from the Bandcamp demos EP. Well, actually not all of them, but like a good majority of them, and then like some from SoundCloud that I made a bit later. because demos was like mostly my middle school songwriting era, and then some of the other songs were like high school for me. So then I just kind of threw them on one release and then uploaded it to Spotify just to like condense it into a more digestible package, I guess.
Wow. So I also saw that Dominoes and Dwellings were the first two songs written with other bandmates. And
Yes.
I was wondering, what's the backstory on finding and getting the other band members to join Tidepools?
So, um, I didn't like get like actual like contributing bandmates until high school. Um, I always wanted to like be in a band or whatever and like write music with other people, but since I've, started so young, it was really hard to find people who were like interested in music at the same time that I was. So I just kind of had to like write by myself for a long time. But in high school, I finally started meeting other people that, maybe they didn't have like exactly the same music taste, but it was like close enough. And they also, played guitar. So I became friends with those people and kind of just like in my sophomore year, I got an email from like this band called Ari Roar. He still makes music, and I think he lives in Texas right now, actually. Um, but he like reached out to me because he found my music on Bandcamp, and he was like, "Oh, like I'm playing at Will's Pub X day with this person. Like, do you want to hop on this show?" And I was like, "Oh my God!" Like, Will's Pub is like a cult classic-y kind of like venue here. Like it's like honestly personally like my favorite venue here, and they have a lot of like really great indie artists. So I was like, shit, like I have to find people to like join my band right now, blah blah blah, so I can like play the show or whatever. So I just got my few friends that knew how to play instruments, and I'm like, please, like join this band, learn these songs. And like I didn't know a drummer or a bassist, but one of the people that were in my band at the time had been in previous bands, which were like post hardcore and whatnot. And he knew a drummer and a bassist, and one of them like went to a different school, and one of them did go to our school, but he was like 3 grades above me or something. So I didn't really know him. And we kind of just like got together every week to practice before the show, and that was that.
Wow, so that was
Pretty,
that was your first gig?
yeah, that was pretty much the catalyst to having a collaborative songwriting thing happen after that.
That's dope.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about now.
And so so I know you mentioned that artist, but do you remember like the bill for that show or like the other bands?
I do. The other band on that bill was called like the Death Tremors, and it was like two twin brothers. Um, Honestly, both bands on those bills, like on that bill, were really good. That was like a really good first show. I was really lucky to be invited to play that, even though I had never played a show before. And then when we showed up, they were like, "Damn, these are kids," blah blah blah. And they were like in their late 20s, and I was just like, "I'm here."
Wasted Purpose I saw came out in 2019, and I noticed the Bandcamp has three more tracks than Spotify. Uh
Yeah.
Tracks Better, Games, and Wrong slash Right.
Yes.
And I was wondering the reason behind not adding those on Spotify.
Um, I don't think it was on purpose, honestly. I think it might have been like because of like DistroKid or something, or like at the time I was still, in that collaborative band dynamic. And I think maybe one of my bandmates were like, oh, it has to be like a set number or something. So I just picked the songs that I liked best. But honestly, I don't know why I left those out because like Better should have taken the spot of one of those other songs, in my opinion. Games, yeah, I don't know. I feel like those three should have been thrown on there if I'm being completely honest. Maybe I can like add those on there now.
Well, I'm glad I brought it up.
Yeah.
Also, I took a shower earlier and I was listening to, how do you say it? Is it D/emo or demo? Or...
I just call it demo, like um I never gave it like a real name, and I don't know, it's kind of like dark and moody, especially in comparison to the other songs that I had made at the time. So I don't know. My bandmates like kind of made a joke about it. They're like, "Oh, it's so emo." So just put like a D in front of the emo. I don't know. It was kind of stupid, but
It works. D emo.
yep.
So, how did you record the drums too?
Oh, okay. So the drums for Dominoes, that was like the only song that I didn't do in GarageBand. I finally got like an Apple computer and like Logic or whatever, so I had like a shitty little interface. It was like a PreSonus one or something. Um and I had a Shure SM57, which is, I don't know if there's one over there, but
Oh
this
wow.
can do anything. This can literally do anything, but I only had one at the time, so we had to get my drummer to like record half of the kit, and pretend like to play like the other half of the kit, and then we had him like play the other half, and like we set it over here, and then we like combined both audio files for it to sound like one full drum kit. But it was a super unorthodox like setup, if I'm being honest.
Oh wow. Oh, so like, and the reason behind that method was kind of like the one mic couldn't capture the whole kit together.
Yeah, it was just like it sounded weird, and like it wasn't capturing like the snare enough or like the kick enough or something, so we just kind of like split it up to kind of capture more of the drums. um didn't exactly know what we were doing, we're just kind of fucking around, but I guess it worked. Good enough to get the demo.
And I also wanted to ask, the cover art for Wasted Purpose, is that a picture of Wakiva River?
Wakaiva Springs, yes. Yeah.
I know I was gonna
um
probably botch that.
yeah. um it's like 30 to 40 minutes away from Orlando. But I don't know, the springs are probably like one of my favorite things about Florida. And um I kind of chose like a watery, like related name because I felt like it kind of connected to like my experience here as like a Floridian or something, just being around bodies of water. And also at the time that I came up with the name, like a lot of my favorite bands like Dive and Washed Out or whatever, all of them are kind of like water related or something. So I don't know. I thought it just like visually kind of just like captured the vibe. I guess that's as deep as it goes, honestly. But yeah, I mean, I used to swim like on a swim team as a kid too. So just also like tide pools, like pictures of tide pools. I don't know if you've seen them, but they're so fucking cool. Like all the crazy animals you can find in there, like starfish and like weird like sea slugs. And I honestly don't think there's like that many tide pools here, like real crazy ones, but I wish there were.
And I also wanted to mention Salvador Dali. I think I saw that you went to the museum.
Yes. The museum is in St. Pete, which is like 2 hours away from Orlando. Um, like I was an art kid, especially like in school. Like I went to art magnet schools or whatever, and I like had an audition to be in the art program or whatever. So we would like take field trips and stuff there pretty frequently and stuff. And I don't know, it's pretty cool. Like the paintings are freaking huge and um really detail oriented. Like I don't know how he came up with some of those ideas and like kind of like visual illusion stuff like in a painting, which is crazy to see in person.
When you're like, I don't know how you came up with it. I was like, I'm gonna take a wild guess and say drugs, maybe.
Who knows with that mustache?
Um, yeah, I it's not a painting, but I do have that poster back there is like a poster of one of his paintings. I don't know which one it is, but I got that I used to work at a smoke shop and the owner had a box full of posters and I was skimming through them. I was like, Dolly, what the hell is this doing here?
That is pretty random for a smoke shop. Usually
uh,
it's like Rick and Morty or something. Like,
yeah. um, oh yeah, I was gonna ask you, have you ever seen that weird short film that he did in Dahlia's Dog?
Salvador Dali made a short film?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I haven't. I didn't know that.
It's wild. Pretty sure you've heard of the Pixies, right?
Yes, love them.
Fuck,
This
what's that?
monkey's gone to heaven. Sorry.
Fuck, I'm blanking out on the song. Um, I think the baser might be it. He references that movie in it or that short film. He's like, got me a movie. Want you to know. Slicing up,
Oh,
I want you to know. Um, that's the film he's talking about. I recommend it because it's very trippy, weird shit. It's Dolly.
I'll definitely have to check it out. I also didn't know that the Pixies were talking about that in Debaser. I really like that song too.
Yeah.
That's
Girl,
so
you're so
cool.
groovy.
I want you to know.
Also wanted to talk about Never Better. I saw that one came out in 2019.
Yes.
Where was that one recorded at?
So that one was like the actual, um, like the first actual studio recorded release ever. Everything else was done at home, DIY, whatever. Um, we went to this guy in Daytona called Matt Goings, and he usually recorded like I said, like all those like post-hardcore bands or whatever. And I was 19 at the time, and like all my other bandmates were like my age or whatever, so we were broke as hell, didn't have any money, and he was like the only person that was like kind of like in our budget or whatever. And yeah, we recorded those songs with him, and that's never better. There it is, first studio release.
Yeah, it really like made the instruments and vocals just come out way clearer too. I'd say.
Yeah, honestly, if I could have done something different, I would have, you know, been a little bit more direct with my bandmates about like the kind of vibe that I wanted to get sound wise out of the album. I mean, I'm not gonna say that it like sounds bad or anything. Like it definitely sounds clearer than all the other stuff that we recorded, and vocals wise, like in the mix you can actually hear me, which was like a big complaint that everyone had like when I was making music in my room. They're like, we can't hear your voice, blah blah blah. But like at the time I was in the mindset of like, oh, like it's on purpose. The music, that's the focus. Like it's kind of like buried underneath everything else. But um yeah, I mean Matt's a great producer, but I just feel like he mixed in the more post-hardcore style. And personally, if I would have done anything different, I probably would have, you know, worked with someone else that could have like mixed the drums and everything else in a more like indie fashion. So like more like mid-range and I don't know, pass it through like a tape machine or some shit. But I'm working on a new album right now, so um I'm gonna try to, you know, do everything the way that I envision it in my head. And I don't know, I learned a lot from making that album, so I don't regret it.
Now that you're saying that, I do kind of hear that. Yeah, there's some songs where the drums sound pretty heavy and not. I mean, I'm not saying that like in a shade way, but it gives it an edge, you know?
Yeah, no, it's definitely more like like I don't know how else to describe it, but it definitely is more like aggressive sounding. Um, I feel like the only thing that really sounds how I see Tidepools like sonically is maybe like the lead guitar parts, which I wrote, and because I put like a, you know, my pedals on there with like vibrato or chorus and stuff like that. But I feel like the rest different definitely makes the song sound a lot darker than they actually were, I guess, like feelings wise. Like I feel like live at the time when we would play those songs that like a lot of people would come up to us and be like, wow, this sounds like really different or whatever. And um it definitely sounded more indie, I guess.
You mentioned pedals, and I think I saw some pictures. I don't know if you still have it rigged this way, but it had some pedals like on a skateboard. I was like, oh, that's
Yeah,
dope as hell.
thank you. Yeah, at the time I got into skateboarding. I always wanted a skateboard, but I didn't get one until like I was like 18 or something. And like one of my bandmates gave me like a deck, just like not set up or anything. And I already had like a real skateboard. So I was like, you know what? I don't have like $200 to get a real like pedal board, like a pedal train or something like that. So I kind of just DIY'd it, got some Velcro, industrial Velcro from like Hobby Lobby or some shit, and just like put it on there. Went to Home Depot, cut some wood up to like make some wedges to kind of like angle it up, and it worked for a while. But I outgrew that thing pretty quickly because I started adding more pedals and stuff. So, and then people started taking my idea. No, I'm kidding. I inspired other people in the scene. Let's just say that.
Dude, legit, as you were saying that, I was like, all right, I'm gonna write this down so I can steal that. I mean,
I mean, it's like it. Hey, it's a very cost effective and gives you like aesthetic points for sure.
I don't even have an electric right now. I do have some pedals, but just been uh mainly playing like an acoustic. But hopefully, you know, when I don't have too many bills to pay, can, try to get my hands on a guitar, on an electric. And
Hell
yeah,
yeah.
I'm sorry, but gonna probably use that idea.
No, go for it, dude.
I'll give credits to you though. Be like, Laura, you know, gave the life hacks for this.
I'm sure I wasn't the first one to think of that, but I'll pass on the inspiration to you.
And I wanted to also talk about the videos, the music videos that you guys did. Again, my might butcher this word title. Aluka, Ayuka,
Aluka, yeah.
Aluka. All right. I was wondering, in that music video, was it your bassist that was kind of like the lead the lead dude in that?
Yeah. My bassist at the time was like the main protagonist in like the video. Um, the other person, like the love figure or whatever in like that music video was his girlfriend at the time. And at the time she was my roommate in college. So yeah, I just kind of got the people that I knew at the time and just like, hey, let's make a music video.
And I was legit gonna ask that too. I was like, were they in an actual relationship? Because they had like good chemistry on there.
Yeah, no, they were like together for like a few years at that time. Not gonna air anyone's dirty laundry, but not, not a thing anymore.
Yeah, yeah. And also the Bug in My Juice video, I like that one too. It's like a cool home video kind of vibe.
Yes, that one I did entirely like myself. I borrowed like my friend's camcorder and just like took a bunch of clips of like us working on music together and stuff and just hanging out in like the house or whatever and yeah, just like chopped them up and tried to like piece them together in a way that kind of like worked with the song as best as I could. I think it was an iMovie, honestly.
It's fun though. It was like at times kind of like syncing with the song, you know.
That was intentional to the best of my ability. I'm glad it came through a little bit.
All right. So this last thing I like to do in every interview is I like to close it off with kind of like a ranking list. It's
Gotcha.
pretty much like a playlist of songs that I'm really digging at this time. And as I go off one by one, if you could share like a fun fact or like a cool memory that comes to mind.
Okay. Just like anything.
Yeah. Yeah, like a
Okay.
uh it could be like a behind the scenes thing or something that maybe your fans might not know of.
Okay.
All right. For number 10, I went with Run Away from Everything.
Oh man. That one was realizing that mental health issues were apparent. Um, yeah, I don't know. I was going through a rough time at the point. I was just like, I wish I could just get away from these problems as fast as I can. So that that's the first thing that comes to my head because yeah,
It's funny because that one is like kind of a serious start to this, and then it's gonna lead to number 9, like watching TV.
TV, that one, wow. I don't know. I feel like that one was more about just like mundane shit in life, like that you have to do every day, like getting the mail out and like of the mailbox and wanting to have a life that's something more as you like envision it, I guess.
Okay. Mundane things. Yeah, I was like, whoa, is this song like just about watching TV?
No. Yeah. I mean, for someone, it could mean that for sure. It's open to interpretation.
Number 8, went with Slow Days.
Slow days. That one was like my. Like I wrote that song when I was like 14 or something, and I was like, this is the best song I've ever written in my life. Um, I still really like that song now, but specifically what comes to mind with that is key changes. That was like a song where I had like a key change for the first time or something, and that was fun.
Number seven, I went with Aluka.
Aluka. The name of that song actually came from an anime that I was watching. It's not about the anime at all, but it's just named after like Hunter, X Hunter. There's like this non-binary character or something, and we named it after that. Just because I don't know, I name my songs stupid shit usually, even if it's not related, if I'm being honest. And that just kind of stuck.
Number six, I went with what kind of picture are you trying to paint? And before you share, I was curious, is that kind of like a question you ask yourself as an artist as well?
Yes, definitely. Um, that one was like that's a really good example of like the metaphorical kind of like writing that I was talking about. Um, just like the picture could represent a lot of things, but yeah, it's definitely a question I ask myself a lot. Like I'm definitely always trying to like write music with like a feeling in mind, like a specific like feeling and like what I want other people to feel and kind of like envision. Not like completely, but just kind of like a general like aura coming off of the song, I guess, for lack of a better word.
And number five, I like this one because it's a bit different from your other songs because it's more stripped down and it's just kind of you with an acoustic. I went with number five, acoustic one.
Yeah. Acoustic one, I wrote that at a time that I think they were like remodeling my parents' house or something, and only had like my acoustic guitar. And I don't know, I kind of like set a soft rule for myself back then where I wanted to write like at least like one song a week. And that week I only had my acoustic, so I kind of just like pooped that one out. But low key, I don't know. I really appreciate acoustic songs. I want to get at least one acoustic, not like completely acoustic song, but kind of like as the main like rhythm guitar kind of vibe for this next album release that I'm currently recording.
Nice. I'm a sucker for those kind of songs too. I mean, it just I don't know, especially right now I've been really digging like the nylon type acoustics, but
Mm,
just any kind of acoustic in general always get just get my attention right away.
for sure. I don't know, the texture. A lot of artists recently have been doing this, and I really like the feeling it gives off, but like texturally, like sonically, like layering steel string guitar acoustic guitars with like an electric guitar, and I don't know, it just adds something like something. I don't have a word for it, but it's just good, and I want to try it.
It's using those layers. Always good to have layers.
Yes.
And number four, I went with Too Close for Comfort. That one was in my head for a good while.
Oh man. That song has kind of been a meme now. Like not a meme, but just like people who know me, like they'll be like, too close for comfort. And I'm like, fuck off. Like, but that's like the main thing that pops up in my head now. Um, Completely unrelated, but there was like a while where I would play shows and people were like, Tidepools. Has everyone and ever wow, I fucked that up. Has anyone ever called you Tide Pods? So
Oh,
I don't know. That's just like I don't know. That made me think of that, but I thought about making a shirt with like the Tide Pod on it and then like Tide Pools. But I don't know if that's like a stupid idea now or not.
I say go for it. That sounds kind of genius.
I might don't sue me, Procter and Gamble or whoever the fuck owns that. They have too much money anyway. What do they need to sue me for?
It's funny because those people that ask you that question, it's like, I mean, obviously they're trying to be funny, but they kind of give you like a free marketing thing with that.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. It's kind of funny. I'll maybe make a t-shirt or something stupid. There are like other bands that make like a sriracha bottle with like their name on it or something. So it can be in like that vein of things.
Um, yeah, it's always cool to have merch shirt with like some humor on it. So definitely, I say go for it.
We DIY the shit out of our merch now too, so I just gotta make a screen. I got a screen printing machine and everything, so if we want it, we can make some.
Oh shit. Number three, I went with sour.
Sour. Yeah. What did I think of? Um, I mean that song it like specifically is just about like being in like not like specifically romantic relationships, but just like relationships with people in general, and then like you know, having stuff happen and then you kind of like become a person that you don't want to be and things kind of turn sour and stuff. Like, yeah.
Makes sense. Number two, I went with bug in my juice.
Bug in my juice. Literally, as stupid as it sounds, I literally like wrote the lyrics for that song because I had a cup of juice just like this. Um, and I was outside writing lyrics and a fucking bug, like a fly or something, decided to just like land inside of it. And I was like, God damn it. And like I was collaborating with my friend at the time that isn't a friend anymore, but whatever. Um, he was like frustrated at someone or whatever, so we kind of like made bug in my juice kind of like stand for like someone who's like frustrating you, like, oh, you're such a fucking bug in my juice, bro. Like, that's literally, yeah, how that came about.
That's fucking dope though. You could literally make a song of in the moment stuff, but like you said, kind of use it in a metaphorical way.
Yeah, like, God, like, you're so freaking annoying, man. Like, you're such a bug in my juice. Like, I don't know.
I was thinking about this the other day. I don't know why. Even to this day, I have what do they call it? Like, okay, jingles or like, what do you call it when there's like those songs when you're a kid that you have to like kind of sing with the class or you know what I'm talking about? Like,
Like an anthem sort of thing.
I want to say uh, it's like a word for like a kid song. I don't know. I'm
Not a
blanking.
lullaby, but
It's just yeah, like a kid friendly song. Um, I have a to this day a kid friendly song because I remember we were in elementary and my class would always sing it for some reason, like in recreational time or whatever. It'd be like, "Shoe fly, don't bother me. Shoe fly, don't." And
that's
I
amazing.
same thing. Like I freaking use that for people. It's like shoe fly, don't bother.
That's great. Yeah, I don't know. what word you would use to like describe like rain, rain, go away, whatever, like those kinds of songs. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanna say the word jingle, but I mean jingle's more kind of like a like commercial kind of thing, right?
Yeah, like marketing. I got you though.
All right, number one. This one, I mean, I love the title by itself because it's like, I don't know, just sounds funny, looks funny, and the song kicks ass. Number one is Psych.
Psych. Yeah. Psych. Yeah, that song is literally like, hey, you want this? Psych. Like, yeah. We named it that because it was like I really wanted to write a song that was like dynamically like it started kind of like soft or something, and you think it's gonna be like a soft song, and like you're like preparing just to like have like a chill time, and then it kind of like stops, and then it's like boom, like loud, very dynamically like different. So it's like, ha, we got you. You thought it was a soft song. No, this one's it has energy behind it. Like that's why we named it that.
Yeah, and that's definitely what I got from the song too. Is like, whoa, it shifts and it's not all over the place, but it definitely like has a build up and then just
Yeah, I can't remember if it was that song or not, but no, maybe it was Dominoes. Dominoes was supposed to have like a slow down part at the end. Like if you listen to like the original version on SoundCloud, there's like a slow down section at the very end that's not in the final like wasted purpose version. But yeah, I like to play with like dynamically different stuff, like shifts and I don't know, contrast, bring contrast to like different parts with like volume levels and whatnot.
yeah, that's always cool for me too. When I hear that, it's like um you're going on this kind of like a journey within the song and like beginning, middle, end, and it's cool when it doesn't have like the same wavelength or yeah, just changes are cool within a song. So hell yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I guess to end this off, is there any parting messages or advice maybe you'd like to share to um, your fans that could be watching this?
Well, a little bit of self promotion first. We're okay, so Tidepools right now, I'm back to the solo project thing, so I've been writing songs by myself again, like I used to. And I'm really excited because we're recording an album and that's what's happening back here. We just like started tracking drums for the new release. I don't know if I should spoil the name of it or not, but I'm so excited to put it out. Like it already sounds really good and it's like the closest release that I've had that comes close to like the vision that's always been in my head sonically. Um I don't know if you like ever heard of the band like Hoops or whatever. Um,
Sounds familiar.
but yeah, I don't know. I just love like albums that sound like they were recorded in like the 80s or something, like fed through like tape machines and they kind of have like that warmth and like I don't know, like you know how like old film videos they have like those little speckles that kind of like pop
Mhm.
up on the screen, kind of like that, but like music wise. I don't know, just having that like a little bit of shittiness just adds character. Like I I
Right.
just am a sucker for that kind of stuff, especially just like writing stuff in my bedroom and whatnot and listening to so many artists that produce and record in their rooms with what they have. I don't know. It's just feels so like human and real and raw. Like I just want this out so I can like start touring with the album and stuff. But parting message aside from that to any of my creative friends out there watching this, just make shit and don't hold any expectations because that's gonna be the thing that makes it hard to, you know, really make something that you're proud of. The big roadblock for sure. So just make shit and don't even think about it. Just do it.
Very well said.
Yes. Parting message to all my femme musicians out there. Keep doing what you're doing. You're gonna get tested a lot, but it'll be worth it in the end.
Beautiful. I
Yes.
back both of those up 100%.
Yes.
Laura, it's been a great pleasure speaking with you. I can't wait to hear that new stuff of yours.
Thank you so much for having me. This was really cool. I've never done like an interview like this before, so it's really cool to have the chance to do something like this.
We got like both firsts for us here.
Hell yeah.
Enjoy the rest of your day, and yeah, we'll be in touch.
All right, sounds great. Bye. Thank you so
Take
much.
care.
You too.
Later.